I would have tried to renegotiate and ask for an appropriate amount of money. Now, again, I'm saying this not knowing specifically what his role is and not knowing specifically how much they stole, right? He could have very well stole $1.6 million. So the first thing they did was that they confiscated his home. That was the first thing they did. But that home, the confiscation of the home is not gonna cover no damn $1.6 million. As a matter of fact, what's gonna happen is that he's gonna have to pay interest on that $1.6 million. So every year that is not paid, that 1.6 million is gonna grow. So the reason I'm actually making this video is because I wanted to think on what I would do if I was in a situation like that. Now, of course, I would never be in a situation like that, but because I wouldn't commit no goddamn financial fraud. So I'm never gonna be in a situation like that. But life is a motherfucker. Life is a bitch. And you can easily be framed for something. You could easily get in some type of accident. I actually knew a lady. I actually know a lady. I'm sorry, not new. I actually know a lady who was trying to get to work. So she was speeding, and when she was speeding, she ended up hitting a little girl and killing the little girl. So as a result, she had to go to court, and for whatever reason, I don't think she had insurance or something like that, or the insurance didn't cover it. But I actually looked into the story. What ends up happening is that she had an outrageous restitution that she had to be responsible for. And to this day, she hasn't been able to pay it. She's like 60 years old. So even though Larry is a convicted criminal, life is a bitch. Life is a bitch. And you don't know what type of situation you can find yourself in. So I thought it would be good content to make a video on what to do if you were ordered to pay restitution and you can afford to pay it. 1.6 million, how in the hell are you gonna pay that shit, right? So that's why I'm making this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. So basically, the little 18 months that he got in prison time ain't shit. 18 months ain't shit. That time is going to motherfucking fly by. And Larry, he looks to be, I'm not sure if he is, but Grown Lil Boy, AKA Larry, he looks to be in his mid to late 40s. And he looks like he's in a little bit better shape than I am, but it doesn't look like he's in prime shape. So I would spend that prison time trying to perfect my mind, my body, and my soul. You have nothing but time. But if you think about it, you're in a good, you can use that to your advantage, right? There's no reason for you to be out of shape because the only thing, you got plenty of time to work out. So there's no reason for you to be out of shape. There's no reason for your mind not to be tight. Your mind should be tight because you have plenty of time. You got 18 months to read and study whatever you want to study, right? 18 months. And then there's no excuse from not ascending spiritually because you have 18 months to meditate. So first off and foremost, I would look at the prison sentence as a blessing. And you probably thinking like, yeah, that's some crazy shit. Look at a prison sentence as a blessing. Well, look, first off, he in a federal prison. And in my perception of federal prison, here's this goddamn hill again, but good thing I'm going down it. My perception of federal prison is that it's a country club. So you're gonna be in a motherfucking country club. So yeah, so there's no reason for you not to be in perfect health. There's no reason for you not to ascend spiritually, right? Whether you believe in God or not, whether you're Buddhist or whether you don't believe in any of that, if you believe that you have a spirit, then that's the perfect time to meditate. And then there's no reason for you not to be smarter, mentally sharper, because again, you have 18 months to study and do whatever you want to do. And then more than likely, most prison facilities, God damn it. Most prison facilities have programs that you can get into to actually pick up some type of trade or vocation. Now, whatever trade or vocation he picks up in prison is not going to make him no goddamn $1.6 million. So let's get into how to actually handle $1.6 million in debt that you can't pay. Now, first and foremost, one of his terms of his parole or his plea agreement is that he can't have any credit cards. He can't apply for credit. He can't do anything that's going to allow him to start a business and make money. And I think, honestly, that's one of the best ways to become a millionaire is that you show creditors that you are responsible and that you pay your bills. And then you go and open yourself up a restaurant or a small business that is going to allow you to take in money and basically, it's going to allow you to make money, point blank, right? And if you're successful, then more than likely you're going to become a millionaire, right? If you play your cards right. Like I'm not a business person per se, so I don't know the percentage of businesses that fail. But the beautiful thing about our system is that eventually you can get to the point where people just trust you from a credit perspective. And because they trust you from a credit perspective, they will allow you to get credit without using your name. And if you didn't use your name, if the business fails, it just fails. And you go off and you try again, right? But first and foremost, he doesn't have those options. Those are not options for him. So the key component of actually having, owning, and maintaining the business is gone. So what would I do if I was him to handle this debt? Well, the second thing you need to know is that you can go back to jail if you're not paying that restitution. If you're not paying that restitution and they think that you're willfully avoiding the restitution, you're willfully trying not to pay, and you're doing it on purpose, then they can have a hearing to determine what you've been doing, the state. And I heard, damn, these flies are biting the shit out of me. I hope they flies. I don't know what the fuck these things are. They can have a hearing to determine whether or not you're willfully avoiding your restitution. And if you're willfully avoiding your restitution, they'll lock your ass back up. So you'll be right back where you started, right? You'll be right back where you started in jail with even more restitution to pay, right? So that's the second thing you need to know is that you just can't ignore the restitution. It's probably like child support or probably worse than child support, whereas if you don't pay it, they're gonna lock you up. So you can't ignore it. So what are your options? Well, the first thing I would do if I was Larry is that I would file a bankruptcy. And by the way, if they do try to lock you up for not paying restitution, you can file a bankruptcy and not even go to that hearing. Like if they say, okay, you haven't been paying the restitution, we're going to have a hearing to determine whether or not we're going to lock you up. The first thing I would do in that situation is that I would file bankruptcy. And sadly enough, you can't discharge restitution in bankruptcy, but bankruptcy will immediately stop any attempts to lock you up over debt, or it will stop any attempts to have a hearing, which would end in you being locked up to pay debt. So I'm gonna turn around because I still got a little more to say on this, and I'm getting kind of close to my car. These flies will bite my ass, but I'm turning around anyway. So I would file bankruptcy. And of course, you can't file Chapter 7 and totally get rid of the debt, but you would file a Chapter 13 to reorganize the debt and say, hey, look, I can only pay $50, or I can't pay anything because I don't have a job. I'm in prison, and the most I can make in prison is $2 an hour. So, and I need that to basically eat and survive. So I can't pay anything, right? So, but if you don't file a bankruptcy, then they can have a hearing and they can get in your business and they can treat you like a child, and they can look at your finances and they can be like, oh, well, you don't need money to do that. You don't need to have this luxury. They can be nasty and just go through your shit and tell you how you should be living your life. And you really don't want to do that. You want to file a bankruptcy, and you want a situation where you're going to be more in control of what's going on. So that's the first thing I would do. I would file the Chapter 13 bankruptcy and try to put off the payments until I get out of jail. But he needs to do that right away. He needs to file the Chapter 13 right away. That should be one of the first things that he does when he's locked up. Now, the third thing that I would do, or I don't even know where I am with numbering this shit. So I think first and foremost, we mentioned that, he has the $1.6 million in debt. Second, they'll lock him up if he doesn't pay it. And then third, he needs to file that Chapter 13 bankruptcy to stop the debt from growing if possible, and also to try to get some type of understanding on how he's going to move forward as it relates to this restitution. Now, with that said, the next move is to get into some type of business. Fourth, once he gets out of prison, I would not put anything in my motherfucking name. I would never put anything. I wouldn't even attempt to try to own and hold property. Any property that I desire, because I believe he's married, and hopefully he stays married while he's locked up, and hopefully they stay together. Everything that I desire, I would try to own it through my wife, right, or family member. So even though you don't own it, you help your family members get it, and you can still enjoy it, right, without the risk of them taking it away, right? And that's probably going to be something called fraudulent convergence, whereby you own property and you're trying to hide the property so that it can't be taken away. That's actually illegal. But I think you're likely to, I won't say get away with it. You're likely to win a case like that if your family members are doing a substantial part of the work in getting that property, and you just own a small percentage of it, right? So that's the first. That's something that the fourth thing that should be mentioned is that never even attempt to own property or have anything in your name, because it's just going to be taken to pay the restitution as soon as they find out you got it. Fifth, he's obviously stuck only doing cash businesses. Everything that he's going to do is going to be done in cash, because once he has a bank account, that's something they can easily take or garnish. But on the same token, he probably still needs some type of bank account just so he can do business, to pay his bills, to get an apartment, or, if the apartment is gotten by his wife, but just at the very least so he can have a way of conducting business. And then finally, I would focus on becoming the world's best entertainer. In my mind, and you guys let me know what you think, I think being in the entertainment business is probably the only way, the only real chance he has of paying that restitution. He can't go and get a loan to start a business. He can't go and get a loan and purchase real estate, which is going to appreciate. He can't buy and sell stocks because, again, once he owns an account, they can take that away. So the only thing that he's left with is that he's left with trying to become the world's best entertainer that the world has ever seen. And, that's possible. It's possible. If I could start all over again and I had nothing, because he's in a situation where he has nothing to lose. And if you have nothing to lose, why not be an entertainer, right? I've not heard him tell any jokes. I've not heard him sing, but singing and telling jokes is not the only form of entertainment. Again, there's acting, there's, standing up, telling stories on YouTube, so to speak. There's lots of aspects to entertaining, but if it takes me learning how to tell jokes to make $1 million and I have nothing to lose, you best believe I'm gonna be another David Chappelle, right? So, that's basically it for this video. Let me know what you would do if you were in Larry's situation. And again, I'm not saying that you would end up committing fraud or anything like that, but if you was in the Grown Lil Boys situation, how would you get yourself out of that situation? Or another option, actually, another option is just to give up, right? To win by losing, right? And what would happen if you say, you know what, screw this, I'm going to rescind my citizenship and just go to another country and start over, right? If you do that, how in the world would they be able to force you to pay that debt, right? Because you could go to another country, get a new name and start all over. But, of course, it's going to be difficult for you to go to another country unless you already have citizenship in another country, because you would have to immigrate there. And if you try to immigrate there, they're going to, dig into your past, and they're going to see, obviously, this is something that's going to pop up, and, they can reject your status that way. But there's plenty of countries that you could go to start over. The United States is not the only country in the world that, has a high quality of life. There's other places that you can go to, right? And, I would, if I was in the shoes, an option to give up would always be on the table. I'd give up, try to move to Canada, try to move, but it's got to be someplace where there's a lot of black people, because I'm not trying to, be in a situation where people are just going to be racist towards me and use and abuse me. We're not having that. I'm not doing that. So I would probably try to go to the UK. I would probably try to go to Canada, maybe France, places like that. Any place where there's a lot of black people, right? Hell, he could even move to Africa. That's an option. Move to Africa and just start over. But again, once you go to a place like that, it's a third world country, and if you don't have a support system like family members that love you and that are willing to help you, then it's going to be kind of difficult for you to survive and just have the basic needs. But there are plenty of people who actually are living, who go to Africa from the U.S. Ghana actually has this program where they're taking people, native African Americans, they're allowing them to come back to Ghana so they can repatriate, right? That's an option, you know? But when you go to a country like that, you have to have resources or a serious means of actually getting resources because if you go without resources, you're going to be in a world of pain, right? He's going to be in a world of pain anyway, but I would hate to be in a world of pain and be in a place where I couldn't get my basic needs met, you know? At least here he has family members and, you know, people that hopefully love him and will try to, you know, see that, you know, he gets what he needs, you know, so hopefully he has that, right? But if you go to a place like Africa and you don't have anything, then you're screwed, right? I think going to Africa is a good option for anybody, regardless of what they have going for themselves. I'm sorry, regardless of whether or not they are in Larry's situation. If you're extremely intelligent, you're smart, and you're working in the world economy, going to Africa probably is an option, a really good option, because you can nowadays live in you can live in Africa but still get work from the United States or work from other countries, and the cost of living in a place like Africa is extremely low, so you could probably do well there. You know, so those are some of the options, right? You know, you can give up. And when I say give up, I actually don't mean give up, but you can kind of just say, you know, forget this country, I'll just start over somewhere else. And go somewhere else, right? So that's an option. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Questions or comments below. What would you do if you were in the Grown Little Boy situation? How would you survive? How would you put food to mouth? That's it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.